Welcome everyone to the Extraordinary Coaches podcast. Today I'm here with Martine, and we were just having a chat, and then I realized what I actually like about her approach. And I wanted to say it to her before we started recording, but I thought I'm just going to record and then I'm going to say it. What I like about your approach is that you're a coach, you work online, and you have that very entrepreneurial business focus of yourself. But on the other hand, you're very much person focused, and you still have that real good balance between the head and the heart. And like, it's not just about making the money and blah, 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 and the setting the goals and reaching success, but there's a very light tint in what it is that you do. Do you recognize that?
Yeah, I like that. I like that you said it, because that's something I strive for, and I like the whole business mindset, if you can call it that way. But just the combination with the heart was very important for me and had made such a big impact on my personal growth and my journey. And it's nice that you said it, because I work from that. But when you see it and you convince that, that's great. I like that.
That's nice. Yeah, no problem. How would you introduce yourself to everyone who's listening, and to me again? Like, who are you actually?
Yeah, who am I actually? That's always a good question, and I think always when the questions I get it's a different answer. And in the now, I am joy, I'm energy, I'm focused, I'm happy, and I'm good, and I'm a coach, like you said. In love with life. It's come to me now, but it's a little bit dramatic, but it is. I'm very happy to be here, and I have very clear vision that I want to spread in the world. And it's a great journey that I can do that. I can do it with a lot of fun. Fun is a good word.
No, but in love with life, I think that's beautiful. I think you can own that. You're allowed to say that.
Nice.
You said that you wanted to share your vision with the world. What's your vision?
What I did the last couple of years in my whole personal growth journey is not becoming a better me or improving myself. Actually, indirectly I did. But what I actually did is reconnect with my true self. And that's something I think in the whole head trend we all do with improving ourselves. It's very good, and it's a positive thing. But what I did is reconnect, and I think we can shift more to our true self, to go inward, to go internally. And I think that's something I really want to share, and I'm already sharing. But that's something that can be even more into the world, because information is everywhere. Education is everywhere. We can do so much, but sometimes it's just easier and to go through yourself and just go back to yourself. And when you see everything around you as a mirror, to turn back, that's something we can do more. And then when you come back to your authentic self and who you really are, then that's where the magic is, in my opinion.
I love what you said also about when you see everything as a mirror of yourself. I'm very passionate about that truth as well. I think it's very, I mean, I don't even know if it's true. It's my truth, but I recognize that one. I think it's interesting. How do you do that? How do you reconnect with yourself? Or like, what does it even mean? Because it's easy to say and you hear it everywhere, but what does it mean to you?
Yeah, it's a very dynamic process, and it's something I am doing like periodly, when I feel okay, now it's time to go every day I reconnect in a small way. Like, I have my habits, I have the things I knew that are good for me, that I make the connection with myself. It's nature, it's meditation, like all the things. But sometimes it's a deeper connection what I need, and then I can go for a big walk. I can go to a place to just totally focus on myself. I put my phone away for a couple of days sometimes, and I think that are physical things you can do, like habits, but it's more about having the courage to really look into yourself, and that can be very confronting and very. I just looked away from it from years and just go on, and yeah, I think I was busy with personal growth and did a lot, but actually on a deeper, soul level, you can call it, I did not that much. And now just go in that deeper level of yourself,
Mm.
there's so much, and that's I think a never-ending process.
Yeah. I don't know if you knew this, but I wrote an ebook about this, like exactly this, what you're mentioning right
I
now.
saw it. Yeah, I saw it, and I looked at it, and it was I wrote something, loving yourself without improving yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you said. I love it.
Mm. Fun that you saw it, because it
Yeah.
really reminded me of that, how often in the self-help journey and the big thing, the self-development, we learn to walk away from ourselves, and then you learn to get this sort of identity that you think that suits you.
Yeah.
So you put up this mask, and then you just learn to try on different masks that you prefer to see yourself in, forgetting about like your own true self, like the person behind the mask. And I think that's an interesting thing. So yeah, I still very much stick by the sentence that it's better to just love yourself without improving yourself.
Yeah, I like that.
I think it's interesting. How have you been doing that? What do you want to share a bit about your journey, and what were some things that you unraveled about yourself that you've been looking away from, or those things?
Yeah, I actually was a period of time so dissatisfied. While it did not seem like that, because I was always a very social, happy person, and everything seems good. I did my thing, but actually, like the mask like you said, I just wearing such a social mask, and that was my identity. It was my personality. It was something that was comfortable for me. But actually, when I looked really honest with myself, I thought, no, that's you're not doing the right thing. And in that moment was the right thing for me, because I can't do something else, because it's just something like a survival mode. And I did that I had my reasons of that. But when I became aware of it, then I was like, oh my God, all the years I've been through, it's something. Yeah, I just go further away from myself, right? And I think that's something that we all see in this world. It with all the modern social media, you can call it, that just stimulates it.
Yeah. How did you become aware of it? What was the point where you realized, like, hey, this person that I'm trying to be, that's not me? What happened? What woke you up?
Yeah, it was for me some kind of friction, like a friction from the mask and in interaction with others. When I just feel I can't feel, couldn't feel at all. I was just distracted from my head and my body. But when I just get a signals, it was just friction. I was not content. I was not happy at all.
Fun. And then what? Like I can imagine people having this and then being like, okay, I feel the friction. This is not the person that I want to be. This is someone I've been trying to be, but it's not me. How'd you go from there?
Yeah, that's a little big journey. And from there, I think it's for every person is different, and you
Yeah.
know for yourself what you need, but that's very hard. You're in that situation and you're seeing this for yourself, you feel it, and then okay, what to do now? And the first reaction most of the time is to get information and to do things. And I think it's just the first step you need to go, and then things when you.
Do you still remember what you were talking about? Do you remember your train of thought?
Maybe can you repeat the question?
Yes. I'll by the way put something in there so people know that it cut out. I'll just add a little shot of something. No, but what I was asking you was let's say you get to that point where you realize that who you've been trying to be is not who truly is you. It can be very difficult to fully let go of that and then just become yourself like that. How does that process go of realizing I have been trying to be someone that I'm not, and I would love to be myself, but what's all the steps in between? And then you were saying it's different per person, which I think I would agree with.
Yeah, so I think for me it's very hard to say like these are the steps to get more reconnected with yourself, because it's for every person it's something else. And I think it's very good to find someone or some person where you feel some kind of safety with, like you can go with it. And it's not always need to be a coach or something professional. It can also be a person who stands nearby you, and you can feel safe to share things where you're going through, and just set the first step. And that can be a book, it can be something else with education, and just go, start the process. And that's what I said. When you open your energy and you let the world know internally, okay, I want to work on myself, I want to improve, is not the right word, but I want to start this process, then you get what you need, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that. Because I recognize it too, what you said, the whole social mask. I think that's a very big one for me as well. I remember when I was traveling through Thailand and Cambodia, I just created this version of myself that I knew would always be liked by everyone. I knew that I was social, I was making jokes, I was everywhere, I was, the light of the party. And I like that because people liked me because of it. And that was so safe. Like because if someone were to judge me about that, I could always be like, that's just a mask. Like, they're not talking about actually me, it's just a mask. And I remember that like 90% of people would always like me and want to hang around with me. And that was so safe. Like I wasn't going to be judged. And if I was going to be judged, it wasn't me anyway. And I recognized that when I came back from Thailand. I really liked myself and who I was. And I was looking forward to meeting friends and showing them like who I'd become, because I changed so much because of my travels, blah, blah, blah. Only to realize afterwards that I just put that up because because it suited me, because I was too afraid of being rejected by people. So I was just not being myself, so that if I were to get rejected, it wasn't me. So I wasn't rejected, my mask was rejected. And that was so more safe. So yeah, I recognize what you're saying, but it can be super scary to take off the mask and be like, hey, but this is the real me. How did you do that? How did you like go through that fear of just taking off the mask and being like, this is me, guys, this is what you're getting?
First of all, I'm curious. You said that, okay, it feels safe because it was a mask, it was not a real you. But what was the feeling behind that?
What do you mean?
The feeling underneath the safety, because there is another emotion or another feeling that maybe doesn't suit you like that. You think, okay, this is also not the thing. This is also not everything.
So you're asking about the feeling behind the feeling of what was it?
Of the safety.
Okay. So, well, if I just elaborate on how I felt throughout that period wearing the mask, I felt very confident. I felt like I don't know. I just felt like I was sort of on top of the world and in control of how people perceived me. I think it was very much about wanting to have that control over how other people see me. And I knew that if I was this version of myself, almost everyone would always like me. So I don't know. I was in control of how people perceived me. And on my once I did truffles in India, that really shattered that whole part of, because I wasn't in control anymore of how other people see me. That's what I saw through my truffle experience, as if everyone could just see me for who I really was. And I thought that was crazy scary. And I think that was the moment where I let go of that mask and was like, it's fine. Does that answer your question, or do you want to take it even deeper?
No, it is. And I share what you said, like it gives you confidence and you are in control. You can, in a social situation, what the situation is going to be, because it's your mask and it's the people in the setting who are going to react. And for me, I felt a bit of kind of dissatisfaction underneath, because it doesn't satisfy me, because it wasn't my true self. And in that moment, I thought it satisfied me. But looking back,
exactly.
and I just was that friction I talked about. It was in myself and the people. But that's only when you can truly look at yourself, and that's one moment some situation you get, and then the point gets clear, and then you think, okay, I need to do something about it. And a lot of people are not going to do it, and that's all fine. I think it's a selection of people who are doing it, but the group is getting bigger, and I think we are sharing that awareness. I think that's great.
I like that. So we talked about a bit about the reconnecting with yourself and blah blah, but then how about because I still try to improve myself. Like, not, I recognize what you say. There's a place where you can come from, where trying to improve yourself is not because you don't like yourself, but because you do like yourself. Like, I've given the analogy a lot of times that going to the gym because you don't like your body and want it to look good is way different than going to the gym because you do like your body and want it to look good. There's a small difference, yet it's huge, and in manifestation, blah blah, it helps a lot. But how do you find that balance to still improve yourself yet fully be okay with who you are and not wearing a mask?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's something last year it became really clear for me, and that's totally for me about energy management, and just always be in my own energy. Because when I'm in my own energy, I can see clear, I can feel like what I need, I can feel what decision I need to make, and then what I can do to improve myself. But when it's in my own energy, it's the most purest way. And I think that's something, the energetic awareness is also something I really love. And I think that's also something that just helped so much with that reconnect and with all the awareness. And it just makes you so much stronger and so much more really confident, and it satisfies you, because when you do everything from your own energy, you will attract what's for you.
How do you do that? How do you get into your own energy?
Yeah, that's very difficult. And it took me a lot of years, and still I'm that's still every day something I work on. But it's feeling in my body. My body is like you said in the beginning with the heart. That's step one. Just be totally in my body and just know when I shift from my body, but always the connection. That there's never a disconnection, and it can be with some kind of situation, but then I always come back. So it's really my body, but it's also always like the interaction with people. Feel, okay, what does this do for me? Like the mirror. Okay, what does this situation, what does this person do with my energy? And it always tells me something about me.
Yeah, I like that one. I think that's a great question to ask yourself. Who am I in this situation?
Yeah.
And who am I in this situation? I think it's a beautiful reflective exercise, because it teaches you so much about yourself. And even in coaching, when someone comes to you because they were crazy angry about whatever, and you can just reflect to them like, hey, so apparently you learned that when this happens, you become this version. How does that make you feel? And that's such a powerful exercise, because you make someone so conscious of who they are, and they realize like, oh, I am becoming this version. So it's me. It's not the outer situation that did anything to me. It's me who's becoming someone different in this situation. I think that's crazy powerful that you shared that.
And I think make that becoming aware of your energetic feelings and your energetic situation. I think you can have a total coaching track with it. Like that's something for a person. Yeah, that's when you don't are aware of it. Yeah, it's a process, and it took long, and it will, and that's fine.
There's a saying that a coach who's been on this podcast said to me, and it applies to so many things. But he said it's like a mountain without a top. And I feel like getting back into your energies is the exact same. Like you'll always have more to climb to or to discover in a way.
Yeah, and that's always also something I want to say. Staying in your own energy is also know when you can stay in your high energy, but also knowing when you need to stay in your low energy, because it isn't always highs. And that's a lesson for me. I've been a lot of time in the highs and just doing my hands for my eyes, like, oh, everything's good. I'm
Hmm.
such a happy person. But no, you need to have the lows to have the highs.
Yeah, that's beautiful that you recognize that. How is that for you? Is that hard? Do you get scared?
Yeah, and it's still I need to be very aware of my emotions, of my feelings, because from my survival mode, it was such a long time I denied it. I didn't feel anything. So now I'm aware, but I know for myself I still need to be very present, be in touch with myself to not again deny my feelings or deny the lows. So
Mm.
that's I am aware of, and that's something I um, need to be my whole life. No, and in
Yeah,
busy periods, extra.
yeah. What would you say to anyone who's listening that still has the or because I know I've fallen in the trap, if I may call it a trap, of thinking positive thoughts, and if you feel bad, it's your own fault because that's because you've been thinking bad thoughts and because you're choosing to be in negative energy, blah blah. What would you say to someone who's in that situation? It's like, please help because I'm feeling bad. I don't want to feel bad, but in a way, I hear from everyone saying that I should feel bad, and then there's other people who say that I shouldn't feel bad. Like, do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, first of all, you just need to stay in the bad feeling. Feel the bad feeling. How does it feel? And not with your mind, but in your body. And then afterwards, you can feel for how long time you can do that. And afterwards, you can ask yourself, okay, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel myself? And then, yeah, you can choose, okay, maybe I need to feel bad for a little more moment, or no, now it's time to feel happy again,
Mm.
or to feel calm again.
Yeah. If I may put that in different words, you said just be with what is, and from that place where you are with what is, you can choose what it is that you prefer, or choose
Yeah,
what you want to experience.
unless you have felt it in your body, like emotion, the energy is hurt because it's always a sign. So you need to, yeah, like a child, you need, okay, I see you, I
Mhm.
feel you, and then you can go, yeah, you can ask the question yourself.
Mm, I like that. Thanks for sharing that. I think it's underrated. What you've been saying is so
Oh yeah.
attached to, like, also like this the woo woo side, and then people thinking like, oh, but I don't believe in that. I've come to the point where I don't care whether it's true or not. I just know that it helps. Um, but yeah, I think it's just beautiful that you have a perspective like that and that you are daring to implement it, even though there's so many people thinking that it's BS.
How do you do that, Mick? To stay in your emotion, in your feelings, and yeah, have the highs and the lows.
There's a story, I think I've shared it in my very first podcast episode about spirituality. I don't know if you've listened to that one, but I was just robbed in Morocco, and this guy had gotten, like, he didn't get my wallet, but he just took out everything that was inside. And I remember, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but what happened was I got robbed and I felt bad about that. And I remember sitting on a terrace, feeling bad about it. And one of the first thoughts that came to mind was, um, just think positive thoughts. Like, are you going to have this ruin your whole trip in Morocco? Like, just get over it. It's fine. You still have so much money, blah, blah, blah. Don't get upset about it. And I heard those thoughts and I was like, no, I actually feel bad about this. And I just sat there and I was like, but like, on the one hand, I didn't want to feel
Yeah.
what happened. On the other hand, I kind of felt like I needed to feel that. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to put a timer for 10 minutes. And for 10 minutes, I can just sit here and feel as bad as like, completely own what I felt. If I'm going to cry, I'm going to cry. Whatever happens, happens. And I put that timer, and I just sat there and I fully let the feeling come over me, and I felt scared. I felt unsafe. I don't know. I felt so bad, almost to the point of crying. And I remember when I almost felt like crying, I was like, some thoughts came up, being like, oh, but it's okay.
Oh, I love
Like,
that.
what happened is it happened. It's fine. This man can now feed his children. Um, it's okay. You're still here. He didn't threaten you with a knife or whatever. It's okay. The situation is fine. Right now, you're on this terrace, and everything's gonna be okay. and the timer hadn't even gone off yet. Yet the feeling was gone, because I let it be. And to me, that was sort of the magic trick of, if you just let it be and just learn the lesson, or just go through it, the thing doesn't have to be here anymore if you don't choose that. So I guess that's how I do it. I just allow myself to fully emerge in whatever is coming up without any attachment to the outcome. And I don't know what I would have done if I still felt super bad after 10 minutes, but I think there would have been something inside me being like, okay, we'll take 10 more minutes, until you, I don't know. That's how I would do it. How about you?
Yeah, that's a great example. I love it. And it's a
Thanks.
thing, it's something like surrender. But surrender is
Mm.
so extremely, uncomfortable for the most of the people. And it's not like we are used to, and that's fine. But that's something for me. I think the whole thing about not giving my emotions space is all about control, wanting to have control, and
Mm.
being big and being strong and being confidence. But yeah, it's you need to be soft with yourself. It's also some kind of softness, and just allowing yourself to be. And that's also for me. I know now when I'm walking away from my emotions, because then I'm going to do more, and just being more busy, but not being productive. And then I know, okay, it's time to sit down. Just go back. And
I recognize that one.
I think all entrepreneurs or people are recognizing this, and also not entrepreneurs, all the people, because it's something in our whole world, what we're doing. It's so, it's so easy to do.
Yeah. You must be implementing that in your coaching, right? What you just said, just being busy but not being productive. I so recognize it. Just doing things the whole day, and then at the end of the day being like, what did I do?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. That is, I think everyone recognizes that. How do you implement this in your coaching? Everything that we've just talked about, how does that go when people are coached by you?
Yeah, that's a nice question. First of all, I'm always going with the person and create that safe space. And in the moment, I feel what is that for that person. Just go with the flow and be that safety from them, and just listening. I just want to hear, okay, what's on your mind? What are your feelings? What is in you right now? Just like understanding what's your situation. And then from that point, okay, I always see from, okay, this behavior, these things, we can do this, but I need to stay calm down, and I do that in coaching. And then I stay. For me, coaching is about really staying in a deep connection with yourself, to feel what the other person needs, and then, okay, step by step, on their energy, on their tempo, we're doing what we can do. And just in a co-creation is a big word of mine, because it's always an energetically interaction. And that can only be a good one when you're your own also.
Yeah, exactly. I like what you said there about, it's not the person that you're coaching who does it all. It's the co-creation. You're doing it together. Which is a big misconception. Many people are like, I'm the coach, you're the coachee, you have to do everything, and I'm your teacher. While no, you do it together. It's a relationship where both of you are equal, yet you take on different roles.
And for me, it's really about hearing what's the message behind someone's words. And I think I knew when I can be a mirror, and it's not always it's always from a good intention. It's always from love. But yeah, I can be, okay, you said this, but you also said this. What do you like that confrontation? I think that's very, very powerful, and that's what a good coach needs to do.
Yeah, I like that. Then what's your take on the transformation that someone goes throughout a coaching journey with you? How do you make sure that in the end people have transformed? Is your focus on transformation, or what is it? Or is it more focused on reconnection? Or do those two things happen at the same time?
Yeah, for me, it's definitely about reconnection. and I think the whole transformation trend, I have a little bit of an allergic from it. Like, okay, it's great, and we all, like we said early in this podcast, like, okay, we're doing so much, but it's more about becoming yourself. And when we start a project, I know what the person wants to learn and what's on which aspect he needs to grow. And then, okay, I make sure when I know my own capabilities, okay, I can work with you on that. When you are also internally motivated and make sure, okay, 100% you're going to do it, then okay, I can tell you, okay, we can do this. And yeah, I think it's a lot about becoming yourself and also giving yourself what you need. And it's very hard for yourself always to give yourself what you need. And that's a coach about, to create that safe space with you, to look with you, to hold space, to create safety.
Yeah.
But I always, that's the thing I do in coaching, but always the person itself do it themselves. That's always what I said. You're the cause and you're the solution.
Yeah. That can be hard for people to hear though.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like that is the good thing about being a coach. You can tell people things that other people wouldn't tell them because they're too hard to hear. Or I don't know. I feel like that is one of the biggest advantages of the coach that I've had as well. When someone tells you things like, "Hey, probably no one's ever told you this before, but this is what's happening," and that can be so nice when someone tells you that, because on the one hand you're like, "Hey, wait a minute," but then on the other hand it's like, "Thanks for giving me that," because no one else would have said that to me because they would be too afraid that they would hurt me or whatever. So I feel like, yeah, being a bit ballsy like that.
Yeah, I like
Is
that. And it's
good. How did you get into coaching actually?
oh yeah,
Sorry if you
that's a
still want
nice
to add something to it, but
nice question. For me, I'm actually coaching now for 5 years, I think. But the first 3-4 years, and still, I work in a forensic psychiatric hospital with patients. So that's a different. Yeah, actually, it's a different kind of coaching with other people. But in the big lines, it's also the same, because I'm just doing what I do and just giving the people the place to improve themselves and give themselves what they need.
do you feel like do you feel like there's a big resemblance? Like, what are some of the things that those people have who are in the psychiatric clinic, was it, or a hospital, or
Yeah,
how would you call it?
clinic.
Do you recognize some things that they have in the people that you coach who are not in there?
Oh, that's a really good question. No, I think it's a too big
Yeah.
big difference between these two people, because the people in the clinic, it's a very, very complicated situation where they are with a lot of problems, mental, and yeah, it's very complicated. But
Is your coaching style the same?
sorry.
Is your coaching style the same? Do you coach them in the same way as you would coach someone who's not in there?
Yeah, the same way I do it from my heart, with a good intention, but my whole the way I talk to them is different, and the
Yeah.
speed and the all the things. But in the end, it's just the same. And I think that's something when it's from your heart, then you can see like the soul behind someone's person, and that's something great, and that's I want to do and improve myself more, because that's a good you cannot call it skill, but it's, you know what I said, like.
Yeah, no, it's a good perspective to come from. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in the end it is the same, but in between it isn't the same. It's too big difference.
But that's interesting though. What motivated you to do that, to
Yeah,
work in the clinic?
yeah, it's a little bit. First of all, I always thought myself it's a little bit strange that I want to do that, because first of all I want to work in prison. And I was always, from a little kid, so curious about human behavior and why people do what they do, and why do people like such criminal things, like what's in their mind, what drifts them. um and I thought last year or 2 years ago it was a little bit egocentric, for me,
Mhm.
that I'm just want to observe them like they're crazy and they're very dangerous because it's forensic. They all, did crimes. So, but yeah, for me, it's I want to connect, I want to listen, and I want to be there for the other one. I think that's in the end the thing,
Mm.
and just giving them the step they need to, make that little step they need to go. And in my coaching, it are big steps. People, they are working on themselves a lot, but want to do, the big steps and reconnect and do the things, they're really ready for.
I like that. I think that's yeah. I think that's beautiful. The especially the part where you said that you just recognize them for deep down they're all just souls. We're all equal to each other, and that might be weird to hear if you're not into those spiritual aspects. And I literally don't know what other word to use for it. I mean, I guess you could say we're all part of life in a way.
Yeah.
We're all here on Earth. We're all um, on this planet right now. We share that. We have that in common. So there's always beauty in that, and I think that's great that you can bring that up throughout your coaching. And it's something I learned in my education for coaching as well,
What's make coaching
to
for
just see
you?
the person in there. What coaching is for me, um, I like that question. It's a lot of things. I think I could come up with 20 different things what coaching is, but I guess they would all come down to serving someone,
Yeah.
um, putting yourself, taking a step back for yourself to make place for someone else and serve them in that way, and however that may come, and usually it's through conversation, um, and sometimes that means taking a step back and challenging someone. Other times it's just creating space for someone and letting whatever they have to share be shared. I feel like it's a very intuitive thing, and I guess I'm going to stop my answer by saying, yeah, it to me it's about serving
Yeah. I
someone
love
else.
that. The
um,
surfing part, yeah.
how about you?
Yeah, it's
What's coaching to
for
you?
me, it's like what I've said, holding that space and creating the space where people can give themselves what they need to get that next step and to step up their game. I think for from the Reconnect coaching I do, um, I want to see people, step up their game and just feel better and go better and do what they need to do and become their most authentic self. I think that's great. And then um, energetically, it also have their impact not only on themselves but on their whole, the people around them, the situation, all the things
Yeah,
they do. And then it just starts with yourself, with an individual, but it has their effect on more.
yeah. Hmm. I like that. I think it's a really good question. Then I'm going to ask you another one. What does extraordinary coaching mean to you?
Nice. Yeah, extraordinary coaching for me is about being so honest with the other person. And just, always a coach needs to be honest, but being truly honest what you see and with what you want, to give the person you have in front of you. Mm, and just the defined timing in coaching, I think that's extraordinary coaching. Really the defined timing,
Mm.
like, okay, exactly giving the person every moment what they need. And just, it's a kind of flow, but it also making big steps, because when you, the defined timing, then it's not about ease, but it's about some kind of flow, I think.
Yeah. Are you an extraordinary coach?
I'm becoming an extraordinary coach. I don't think,
Do you think you'll ever get there?
yeah, sure,
Mm.
definitely. But I'm
What's in between?
yeah, for me, it's just about making steps and just, um, helping people and improving myself and just getting more experiences. Experience
Okay, but
is
now
what turns knowledge into wisdom. I like that one, and that's for me
ooh,
now the thing.
nice. I like that one.
Yeah.
But then, what experiences do you feel that you need until you get to that point of extraordinary coaching?
Yeah, I think it's.
What is it that you don't have right now?
I think when you said it like now, in my deep inner being, I am an extraordinary coach. But in this short life, I need to get a little bit more experiences. So I think a little bit more coaching, just some making more steps with people, and I already give the best, and I do give them everything. But I think when I give more time, then I become a little bit closer every time to my extraordinary coach being.
Yeah, I love that. What I saw in my mind's eye when you said that was I don't know exactly what it was, but there was this little light, and then you have these things folding over it, and in the middle you already are the extraordinary coach, and all that needs to happen is just taking away the little things that are holding you back from believing that you're not.
Yeah.
While in essence you actually already are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice that you said it.
I like that. I think that's beautiful. Are you in this area for the long run? Like, do you see yourself doing this still in 20 years from now?
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. And the people for now with Reconnect coaching, it's also high achievers. It's other people who are invested in themselves and are standing somewhere. But like I said, everyone is human being, and for 20 years I definitely work with them, and I'm improving myself and sharing my magic. Yeah.
That's beautiful. How do people work with you, by the way? Do you have like year, month, 3 months? How does that
That's
work with
funny.
you?
I have a coaching track with my business partner, and now I'm working at my own project, and I'm going to launch it like really in a few weeks, not months, few weeks. It becomes really soon, but I don't have a one-on-one coaching.
Okay.
But
What's the
that's
date when you're going to release it? Do you know? Because this one might be already live when you have released that.
Yeah, the launch date isn't.
Or do you not want to share about anything?
I think doesn't have a specific date, but it's in the end of September.
Okay. Well, this one will be already live by then, probably.
People can.
So that's fun.
See.
I'll put a link in the
like that.
description of the video and the Spotify thing.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. Is there anywhere that you wanted to dive into, or any topics that you want to touch upon before we run it off?
I said myself I don't want to say it, but it was for me very out of my comfort zone to talk in English, and I did it, but it's a little bit more hard because you know in your head everything, but it's fine. It's a big lesson for me again, so I'm very happy to make that you invited me, and it was a really good conversation. But I had a lot of fun.
Thanks, I like that too.
And that's maybe I want to say, just have a little bit fun in life. It's fun.
You said there was a big lesson in it for you, talking in English. What's the big lesson?
Having the courage for yourself to grow and just go. Because I could have said to you, no, I'm not ready to talk in English yet. Maybe I'm ready, but I did, and it's an improvement. So, and that's, I think, with everything in life, just give yourself the permission to go and do what you want to do. I think that's a good one. I
appreciate that, Martina. Nice that you wanted to do that with me. I love it. I love that you stepped out of your comfort zone. We talked a little bit about it before, and you did say that you were conscious of, your way of speaking English. But I really loved having the conversation. And it's always the case with that, especially when both of are Dutch. I've recorded many podcasts with people who are Dutch, like my language, and then you start to speak a different language, both of you, that can get really, I don't know, a bit out of the energy. But I don't feel like that in this conversation. I felt like that we were still quite in tune with each other,
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
you shared
sure.
that.
And that's what I said at the beginning when you didn't were recording yet. Like it's about the energy, and that's good. And I felt
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that's good. So that's the most important
I
thing.
love that. Thanks for doing this with me. I learned a lot actually about just your approach on things, and sometimes it's tempting to listen to someone and just listen to points that I agree with, or things that I'm like, oh, I see that the same way. Oh, cool, we share this, yay. But what I've been trying to do is to just listen for insight and like listen for that which can bring me closer to myself and to reconnect with myself by the things that you say. Like, who am I when I'm sitting here in front of Martine? You know. So thank you for that. Thank you for giving me that experience and sharing the experience of what we've just created together. I
Great
appreciate
to
that.
hear. Thank you so much.
Nice. All right. And thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.